now I'm going to add my two volumes together. 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8, and 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So I get 3,840 inches cubed as my final answer. Okay, now for problem 3, the combined volume of two identical cubes is 128 cubic centimeters. What is the side length of each cube? So it's telling me what is the volume, but I don't know what the other cubes are going to be. So I'm going to draw it out so that you guys can kind of see what that looks like. So I have 1, and then I have 2 cubes, and all together I know it is equal to 128 centimeters cubed for the volume. So I need to split this in half in order to figure out what is the size for each one. And 128 divided by 2, I know that 2 can go into 12 6 times. I subtract, 12 minus 12 is 0, bring down my 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. I subtract and I get 0. Okay, so it's 64 for each of them. And I know that I need to figure out what is a number that will give you 64 if I were to multiply a number times a number times a number. So length times width times height, what is going to give me 64? And what is going to give you 64 is actually 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is equal to 64. So each side length on each cube is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to write down each side's length is 4 centimeters. Okay? Now, I'm going to move on to problem 4. Problem 4 says a rectangular tank with a base of 24 centimeters square is filled with water and oil to depth of 9 centimeters. The oil and water separate into 2 layers. When the oil rises to the top, if the thickness of the oil layer is 4 centimeters, what is the volume of the water? Okay, so they give you one part already, which is 4 centimeters. Now they're wondering, what is the other part right here? What is the height for this one right here? So the height for that one right there is going to be, well, it tells me right here that the depth is 9 centimeters. So that means that this entirety of it all, okay, is going to be 9 centimeters. And that's where I'm getting 9 centimeters from. And then it tells me that it is 4 centimeters, and that's already given, so I don't really need that one again. Okay, and then we know that 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So that's going to be 5. Now, what is the length of this rectangular prism? And they also did give me the length. The length tells me right here, 24 centimeters, the base area. So this all along right here is 24 centimeters. Okay? Now that I have everything, I'm going to multiply and solve what my volume is of the water. Remember, it says of the water. So I am not figuring out the whole entire rectangle. I'm just figuring out the base of the water. And this right here, I'm going to color in so you guys can see, is the water. All of this bottom part. It doesn't include the dark gray area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to multiply 24 centimeters square times 5 centimeters square in order to get my answer of, I'm going to write it down right here so you guys can see, 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is equal to 12. So I get 120 centimeters cubed. So the volume of the water is 120 centimeters cubed. Now, I'm going to move on to problem 5. Two rectangular prisms have a combined volume of 432 cubic feet. Prism A has half the volume of prism B. So I have two rectangular prisms. Okay, so they want me to figure out what is the volume of prism A and what is the volume of prism B. So they want me to find both of the answers for them. So I'm going to first show you prism A. Volume of A. Okay, and I know that the volume of A has to add all up to 432 feet. Okay, so I'm going to draw it out right here for you guys. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to draw it right here. So all of this needs to equal to 432 cubic feet. So what I can do is I can divide 432 divided by 3 in order to figure out how much is in each one. So that's what I'm going to do, 432 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time, I subtract, 4 minus 3 is 1, bring down my 3. 3 goes into 13 4 times. I know that 3 times 4 is 12. 13 minus 12 is equal to 1. I bring down my 2. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. I subtract and get 0. So I have 144 in each of these right here. So I'm going to write 144, 144, and 144. Okay? Now, this one right here, just this one, is A. And then B, oh, actually I should have labeled that in blue. This one is A, and this one, these two are going to be B, okay? So I have the volume of A. What I'm going to do now is find the volume for B, right? And when I add 144 plus 144, I'm going to get the volume of B. So volume A is equal to, let me move this down.